Good afternoon, Department of Behavioral Health. Welcome to the November 2025 edition of our Director's Update. If you are new to the Department of Behavioral Health, welcome. My name is Susan Holt and I am our Director of Behavioral Health and Public Guardian. So we have a very brief presentation today, so we'll hop right to it. I wanted to just let everyone know that we are continuing mostly behind the scenes with lots of folks' input, working on our behavioral health services planning. So for those of you who were newer, back in 2024, voters of California passed Proposition 1, and it radically transforms a lot of the work that we do in the Department of Behavioral Health. So we have been mapping all of our services and budgets to a new framework. We've done presentations in the past. I think we had a YouTube video some time ago. We will be doing a more detailed presentation for the department, probably December or January. Look for more information to come. But I did want to let folks know, lots of folks are working on implementation of the Behavioral Health Services Act transformations that we're working on. We have new requirements for specified evidence-based practices in our continuum of care, and so a lot of folks are engaged with what's called Centers of Excellence. These are organizations that have been designated by the state of California to provide training and technical assistance on implementing a whole set of evidence-based practices to fidelity. So a big shout out to Hong Vo from Planning and Quality Management. She stepped in to take the lead as the coordinator of all of these early activities. Excuse me. I really appreciated her doing that, and multiple divisions, multiple team members across divisions are involved in that work as well. We have begun stakeholder engagements. We have a long list of stakeholders we're required to engage, and that does also include our public. So we will be having public meetings in the next couple of months. This all culminates with an integrated plan that's a 3-year plan. And Planning and Quality Management team is deep into the requirements of that plan and preparing for our submission. So again, this is just an opportunity to let folks know we're continuing in the work. Many of you listening have been called upon in that work. And I really want to give a big shout out to everyone because I know it's a heavy lift. So a big shout out to Planning and Quality Management for leading the charge, as well as our colleagues in Fiscal who partner very closely with Planning and Quality Management. I know we have had some struggles due to policies from the state which have lagged behind significantly, and that sure makes our work harder. We've also realized how complex all of the work that we do is, and crosswalking things and mapping has proved harder than I think we would have liked. So everyone rolled up their sleeves and dug right in, which I appreciate. This has also required significant multi-divisional collaboration. So really the BHSA touches everything that we do in the Department of Behavioral Health. And there has been, I just want to acknowledge, a lot of time-sensitive asks from our team members. Asks for data, for reports, for coming to meetings at the last minute, requests for unexpected procurement requirements, lots and lots of changes and time-sensitive impacts. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that and express sincere appreciation and give a shout out to all of you who've been involved in that. For those of you who haven't been involved in the details of that, as I mentioned, rest assured, we will have a presentation for the department probably in a month or two by our PQM team. They will present everything that you all need to know and have an opportunity for you to contribute additional input. I wanted to give a brief update on facilities. I've been doing this each month because we have so much happening with our Department of Behavioral Health facilities. We did have an unexpected hurdle with our youth and adult psychiatric health facilities that we were just about ready to move into on the Heritage campus. There's been a construction-related delay. Thankfully, our excellent DBH facilities team took it upon themselves proactively to test the showers in the facility. And what we found was the ADA accessible showers actually flooded the bathroom. So we had to work with the construction team to rectify that. And at this point, it's pushed us back at least another month from today, possibly with construction, you just don't know. But I just wanted to acknowledge to all of you, we've been talking about opening these facilities for a while. Construction is always a wild card, so we'll see what happens, but we will look forward to moving into those facilities very soon. Construction does continue on the Crisis Stabilization Center out there at Heritage. I was working out from the finance team. Thank you for sharing space with me. We tried to have a meeting in one of the conference rooms, and you could hear the buzz saws and other construction noises. So to all of those team members who work at Heritage who've been impacted by the noise and other construction related elements, thank you for your patience as well. A huge appreciation to everyone in the department who've been impacted by the unexpected challenges with the solar construction of the parking lot. They're installing solar panels over our parking lot here at the Health and Wellness Center. I think we reported on this last time. We did not have much notice, and we were not advised of the level of impacts to parking spots during this phase of the installation. And I just want to express sincere appreciation to everyone who's fairly abruptly relocated to space in a sister department, Department of Social Services, graciously opened their doors to us. It's not been ideal, I certainly know that. I definitely have experienced some feedback from staff who, there's mixed opinions. I've seen some communications come my way from staff who are frustrated, and I've also seen emails from staff who've appreciated the opportunity to work amongst colleagues they've never met before. The space is different, the amenities are different, and some have had a very positive experience. I've worked out from DSS cubicles myself in the last 2 weeks because I want to make sure that I'm not asking our team to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. Also working from a cubicle, just as I mentioned, over at our finance team's location the other day. Thank you to everyone for being so welcoming. And I also wanted to express appreciation to all of you who've had meetings and other convenings which have had to be rescheduled because of the impact to our parking lot at the Health and Wellness Center. I know we had one multi-sector meeting that was on calendar that we had to reschedule, and orientations and many other challenges. So just the purpose of all of that is to say thank you. I know it's impactful, and hopefully we will have that parking lot back in our possession soon. I also wanted to just again transparently say, and I've said this for several months in a row now, we are continuing active exploration of other temporary space pending the construction at the Olive campus. Now, if we were to execute a plan to relocate services, clinical services off of the UMC campus because of construction delays that we anticipate with the Olive project, it could impact all of us across different DBH buildings. Now, I've received feedback from team members that go kind of both directions. Don't tell us things until there's a clear plan because it makes us anxious. Tell us that there might be an impact even if you don't know it because we don't want to be blindsided. And so yeah, I am doing my best to communicate with all of you what I know when I'm at liberty to share it. And so I am conveying to all of you that we are actively pursuing a plan to ensure that we have appropriate clinical space for service delivery and for our administrative services. And there could be impacts to all of us in terms of a relocation of workspace. Rest assured, anything other than this temporary disruption, we would make sure that everyone has space that's appropriate for their workspaces, and that you would be there for a bit, not for a very short-term temporary. So once we have any sort of a definitive plan on that, again, rest assured we will communicate facts when they are known and available to be shared. Speaking of having to relocate things, I had planned that we were going to have our second all-staff meeting of 2025 in the month of December. We had not sent out a save the date yet, but I did have a date reserved. And unfortunately, that was going to be at the Health and Wellness Center in our conference room space here on the first floor. Well, as you know, our parking lot is disrupted, and so that's not going to happen. We tried really hard to find another space that could accommodate, we're a pretty big department, so we usually do at least 3 sessions of an all-staff meeting, and even with 3 sessions, we're a pretty big group. So we were not able to secure a space for December. But our executive assistant, Alicia Corona, is hard at work looking to find a space for hopefully January. If we are successful in that, we will send out a save the date and some instructions for how to reserve your spot in one of the sessions. So stay tuned for more information on that, and thank you all for your patience and understanding that I was not able to accommodate a second all-staff meeting this year as I had intended. One more thing I wanted to share with you all before I wrap us up today. I really want to express appreciation for the nudges, the reminders, and the accountability that I receive from our planning and quality management team about the importance of closing the loop when we ask you for your feedback, whether that be through surveys, focus groups, debriefings, and other types of input and feedback sessions. This is something I really need to improve on. Like many of you, I have a high workload and my days are very, very full, and sometimes I forget to slow down and communicate fully. And I just want to take responsibility for that. I see the nudges and the reminders from PQM as an anchor point for me. I've said to our quality improvement coordinator, Jeff Elliott, back when he used to report to me directly, now he reports to Planning and Quality Management Division Manager Ahmad Barami, and I've shared this with Ahmad as well. It's really essential to me to have an accountability buddy in PQM to help me close the loop on these things, because it will get away from me, as it does. And so I am working hard to improve this. Last week we did a session, an in-person session, closing the loop on some debriefings that we did related to last fiscal year's procurement process. So it's November, and we really kind of wrapped up that process, end of the fiscal year, beginning of this fiscal year. So I wasn't as timely as I would have liked to be. I would have really liked to have gathered everybody together more rapidly. That's a best practice for these types of things. And, it is a matter of scheduling time for the tasks, and frankly, it's sort of death by 1,000 cuts. There is, many of you may know I'm doing 2 full-time jobs, maybe not as successfully as I would like, while we have a trusted colleague who's on a leave. That's not an excuse. I can do better. And so I really just want to express appreciation for the reminders, because when you provide us input, you deserve a response back. So the session we held last week was around strengths of the process, lessons learned, and how do we continue forward with a spirit of continuous quality improvement. What's pending for our clinical team members, for service delivery clinical team members, is a response back to all of you on the input that you provided in some clinical team focus groups that we did many months ago. From those focus groups, our planning and quality management team did a wonderful job preparing a very robust report. There's lots of recommendations in there, and they prepared a draft of an executive summary, which I need to return back to them. That is bottlenecked at me, and I just want to take responsibility for that. But we will get that out and possibly schedule an in-person convening as well, possibly a roundtable discussion. Some of the feedback that I've heard is that it's nice to kind of get together in a circle so it feels less like a presentation. So we want to continue to pay forward your feedback is the point of all of this. You have my commitment to multi-directional accountability and continuous quality improvement in everything that we do, including communication and closing the loop. So we want to make sure that you know what actions we take, as well as actions that we don't take when you provide input and feedback to us. So I also wanted to convey my gratitude to those of you who have expressed things through either a survey or a focus group or a debriefing, and you didn't hear back what we did with that information. I just want to express gratitude for the grace you've extended to the department on that, and you have our commitment that we will continue to work on getting better at that. And if you have suggestions about that, you can certainly let me know. You can email me and CC Alicia Corona on that. So we'll wrap things up. I just have 2 more slides. As I said, a little bit of a short presentation today. We usually do a very, hopefully brief, getting to know Susan section. And since I was talking about how valuable I think it is for us to have a focus on continuous quality improvement in the department, it occurred to me that I should share with all of you that I also hold that value in my personal life. Continuous quality improvement is something that I aspire to hold in everything that I do. And so I thought I'd share with you a little bit about my personal quality improvement plan for my life. You've heard me talk before, if you've been around for a while in the department, and if you listen to these director's updates, that I am working on self-care. And what I've discovered is I need to do that with greater intention. And so intentionality is something I'm leaning in on. I continue to focus on recalibrating my personal priorities and thinking very carefully about how I invest my energy, because it's a limited commodity, right? I have really tried to focus in on prioritizing because, as I mentioned, like many of you, the work is very busy, and I want to make sure that in the time I have outside of the work that we do, that I'm very, very careful of where that energy is invested. I'm leaning in right now on a process of setting some personal goals. That's a whole structured process as well. As I hit a phase of my life where I'm realizing that time flies by maybe faster than I realize, I want to make sure that if there's things I want to do in my life, that I create plans to make sure that I do them. So goal setting is a focus. And I'm working on, again, significant intention on what I consume in terms of information. I've largely stepped away from social media with the exception of influencers, if you will, that align with some of the things I'm leaning into. So I've been spending a lot of time with podcasts, for example, when I walk my dogs or when I'm traveling, listening to podcasts that are around topics that I find invigorating, meaningful with my goals, things around leadership, wellness, fitness, nutrition, etc. When I'm on social media, I am trying to only look at things that align with my values, and I'm setting a limit on how much time I do that. I heard a podcast yesterday when I was driving back from Southern California for a CARE Act meeting with the local, the statewide officials and others who were assigned on this work group. It was a long day, and I was really inspired on a long drive listening to inspirational interviews. And I apologize to the person who said this quote. I was driving, so I couldn't write anything down. But it was such a strong statement that it resonated with me, and I wanted to share it with all of you. They were talking about sometimes we can be hard on ourselves. This might resonate for some of you. It certainly did with me. And if we make a mistake, we might beat ourselves up or, be really hard on ourselves. And what the person said is that they had a colleague they were talking to, and they said, I know you well enough to know that if I say don't beat yourself up, that's not going to happen. You're still going to beat yourself up. And she said on the podcast that she said to her colleague, my request is that if you're going to beat yourself up, do it with a feather, not a club. And it was such an inspirational statement because, changing our personal mindset is challenging. And if you're a person who's hard on yourself, letting that go altogether might feel like a big leap. But if we can be more gentle to ourselves, like with a feather, that's a step in a good direction. It also aligns with our concept of harm reduction, right? We want to be more kind as we work toward total acceptance of ourselves. And then I thought I would wrap things up with this book that I have on my desk. You can see the picture there, but it's kind of hard to see it, and I think I inserted it crooked.
On mine it's crooked, and on yours
it's fine. On mine it's fine, but Brian says on your display it's crooked. So I don't know if you can see it, if it's spelled backwards or not on the video, but this is 100 Ways to Calm. And a friend of mine who's also a therapist gave this book to me, and I don't know if I've shared it with you over the years, perhaps I have, but I wanted to read a few of these because I knew we had a short presentation. This book is something I pull out. It's literally sitting on my desk every day, and I pull this out once in a while when I just need a mindful moment to step away from the work and get grounded and think about things that'll calm my central nervous system so that I can refocus on the mission ahead. And so I just randomly pulled a few that I thought you might like. The first one, to calm, you can watch the clouds. Cloud watching can be a great way to develop some objectivity on the nature of your thoughts. Spend 5 minutes watching the sky. Notice what the cloud shapes remind you of. See if you can detect movement or changes in appearance. Just as a massive bank of gray clouds will inevitably clear into blue sky, or a cloud shaped like a rabbit will morph into an ice cream cone, your current thought pattern will also transform. I like that one a lot. Here's another one. When we need to calm, say, I am enough. Very often, new beginnings can be tough. For example, you might start a new business and then suddenly fear you don't have enough experience. Or maybe you're a new mother and suddenly feel overwhelmed by the responsibility. In times like these, remind yourself that you are whole and you are good enough exactly as you are. Take a moment and breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Connect to your heart and state out loud, I am enough. We'll do one more real quick. And this one relates to what I said several times today about intention. This one covers 2 pages, but it's very brief. It says, set an intention. An intention is like a force field that you set around your thoughts, giving you a focus that keeps your mind from spinning in multiple directions. To set one for yourself, create a simple statement about how you want to be. Don't get too attached to a specific result, or else your subconscious might not buy it. Here are some examples of intentions you might want to set for yourself. Today, I'll stay curious when I get challenged. I'll look for the good in every situation. I'll find opportunities to do good. Whenever things get stressful, I'll have a safe harbor to return to. So these are just a few of the items that I pulled from this book that sits on my desk. Again, it's just one tool that I have that was a gift to me to help me refocus, recalibrate, and ensure that I have a sense of calm in my life. So lastly, as we wrap up today, this, as many call it, is a season of gratitude. And so I wanted to share with all of you, of course, you all know we have a 2-day county holiday next week in observance of Thanksgiving. Whatever your traditions are, which I know is unique to each of you and your family, your culture, I want you to know that whatever your traditions are, you matter. And I really want you to enjoy the holiday. Take the nice 2-day break. Some of you might be taking a few extra days. You are appreciated. It is not, sorry, I am having trouble today. I'm gonna take a sip of my energy drink. I try not to drink on camera, but I've been having trouble today. Sorry, I'm cracking Brian up over here. I saw something also, so side tangent, I saw something that was on social media on, again, influencer that focuses on wellness. And they said, I don't know if this is true or not. I did not fact check this. But they said if you cannot swallow 3 times in a row, you might be stressed. You might be having trouble calming your central nervous system. I thought that was really interesting. So of course, like everyone else who saw this social media post, I started trying to swallow 3 times. I did succeed, but it was weird. I digress. What I was trying to say before I literally was choking on my words is that I have such gratitude. I am really grateful, and your leaders across the department are grateful for all that you do, not just in a season of gratitude, but all throughout the year. Thank you for everything that you do for our community, for the department, and you are appreciated. So enjoy the upcoming holiday. Now we'll move along to questions. You can, if you're watching live and if you're signed into YouTube, you can put questions in the chat. I can see them over here on my screen. You can also email Alicia Corona, and I'm going to quickly step over to my purse and grab my phone. So pardon me 1 second as I'm discombobulated. And back. You can email Alicia Corona with questions, and she will text them to me. Just a little bit of a lag sometimes on the broadcast. I'm going to give it a minute before we wrap things up. We are not seeing any questions today. Thank you all so much for what you do. Enjoy the holiday, and I will see you in December on our next director's update, and we will see you in hopefully January. Don't quote me on it, but hopefully in January at an in-person all-staff meeting. Bye, everyone, and thank you so much for watching.